Now when I look back as a growth man, I'm like, you'd be told there's too many energy drinks in the market. The big players are the ones that are doing well. Why must I take this thing and put it into one of my SKUs? Rejection after rejection after rejection. The biggest and best social media platform for you guys to grow your things is TikTok.
Welcome to the Amped podcast, where we dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship, innovation, and all things hustle. I'm your host, Miles Kubheka, in this exciting journey. Today, we are thrilled to announce that MTN is taking over the Amped podcast for the next 3 episodes. MTN Pulse is not just about connecting you to the world. It's also about empowering young entrepreneurs through the incredible Youth Hustle Hub campaign. This initiative features on-the-ground and online activities designed to facilitate trade opportunities for young hustlers like you. In this special series, we explore inspiring stories, share practical strategies, and keep you motivated. All brought to you by MTN Pulse Youth Hustle Hub. So grab a notebook, get ready to be inspired, and let's jump into today's episode. Remember to get affordable deals, dope rewards, and cool experiences. Simply join MTN Pulse by dialing *411# or join on the MTN app. Let's operate. Hashtag MTN Pulse, hashtag Let's Operate, hashtag Youth Hustle Hub. We're talking there in the backstage that everybody is got a story, Sbu. And it's the truth, brother. You've been there in people's journeys. I mean, how does that feel? Like that you've been so instrumental on so many journeys, mine included.
It's humbling to see in a room like this. We really appreciate seeing you guys in these spaces, you know? Not a groovy Nikpela. This is beautiful. It's beautiful to see. So a lot of the work that I was doing, even in my 20s, even on radio, and as I've come up, have got a lot to do with purposeful work. Some of it, yes, one knew this is the right thing to do, but you actually never really understood the impact that you were making in people's lives and actually what you were really doing. Now when I look back as a growth man, I'm like, So it's not something that came out of my intelligence. I guess I was led by the Spirit.
I think it's about the fact that you are authentic. You are you. You know, there's a lot of people who hit the limelight and they switch it on and switch it off.
Growing up in Joburg, you know, we are multilingual. And if you're not, you are forced to be because of the environment. Yeah. And I think that worked into my advantage. Even getting into entertainment, it worked to my advantage that I'm a broadcaster. So you mix around the languages, you can pretty much identify or relate with anyone.
Most of us know you from, I suppose, the entertainment side. But sounds like the core of who you are has always been entrepreneurial. If you were starting to sell things at an early age, maybe tell us a little bit about that backstory.
Basically, when people are gambling and they're gathering around that gambling place, we call that a school. Schools, school said 2 basically 20 cents. So Minnesota school, for some reason, I became brave and I was like, school say 1 rand. So I became clever because I wanted to make money somehow. I buy maybe 3 different pairs of amatais amangan, and then I decided to go school, and then it became the coolest school. And the person who owns amatais, it's like a landlord. They use izinto zakhe. So ngoba wena oda, you set the rules. Uyabakuza. Some of them are even older boys than me. Abanye igebeng, abantu bama okapi. But because I hung around them, I sort of understood the communication, the language, and for some reason they respected me. That's when the name came up, number 1 Knoxman. Yabona. Omunye umuntu Knoxman angathi umuntu oshayayo. Uyi Knoxman. But basically ukuphila nabantu emashop, ukukhulele ekasi kuyakufoster ukuthi ube umashaya. Umashaya, somebody else can look at it in a negative context and say ukushaya. Ukushaya basically is to lie to people, or it could be to convince.
To be a salesperson.
Yeah, to be a salesperson, to convince people to your favor, to win them over. So it so happened, even throughout my journey with everything else that I did, including getting into the entertainment industry, I come with that background. So that background forces you to be able to maneuver anywhere you go. Needless to say that when I was 17, looking for a part-time job during school holidays, I got an opportunity to work at a company called WWI. WWI was a sales company. They taught us a system they call the 5 and the 8. The 5 and the 8 is 5 steps to a sale, and 8 steps to success. They taught us these steps to sell in the streets. Once you know it, it applies everywhere.
Yeah.
All the way up to a boardroom when you are selling a company negotiating billions. It works. Very simple. It's actually on my previous book. It's called The Art of Hustling. Introduction, presentation, short story, close, rehash. And I'll quickly explain them just briefly. Introduction has got 3 different steps in it. When you're greeting the next person and you're giving them a firm handshake, that goes along with the eye contact. Once you give them an eye contact, a firm handshake, and a smile, those are the 3 things that go with the intro. That's how you break the ice. It's like even when you're sending an email, you must always be cognizant of your email being professional, punctuation marks, spelling mistakes, all of those things. Be as professional as you can, but you know how you structure your emails, right? There is a way on how you would send an email, even though it's sort of impersonal. The other person is on the other side of the world, of the computer screen. There's a certain way in how you write an email. It's the same when you meet people, whether in a relaxed environment or whether in a professional environment. You always have to have the smile to break the ice, the eye contact to show this person that you are serious and you're focusing on them. The firm handshake shows that you are paying attention to them, but you're also respecting them. And now umuntu manuphilile unempilo, you know? It's not like awufuni ukuba lapho ngoba omunye umuntu sometimes unokumbulisa uthi agobe isandla kanje akuxhawule kanje. Yazi le handshake yokuthi bagobe isandla kanje. Yeah, and then you are feeling like, hey, lo muntu ngathi akangifili. You know what I mean? You feel nje energy. So it's important to show yourself as enthusiastic as possible, as committed to the conversation as possible. And if you can, throw in a joke or 2 if you can. You know, those are the people who are able to close the sale. Because it also goes with a smile to show that you're friendly because these are strangers.
And the 4 other steps.
And then presentation goes with the product that you're selling. You must present it to them. If it's in a boardroom, that's when you do your PowerPoint presentation, then you're presenting. So that's the thing. In this short, less than a minute conversation, you present the product. And when you present the product, you must present it in such a way that it's not like you are selling it. Just that you relax.
And the most important part about that, it's a presentation. I'm presenting.
Yes.
So
then you present the product. What is it about?
Yeah.
And then presentation goes along with the short story immediately, and everything is all intertwined.
Yeah,
because you don't have much time with this person. They might easily be less interested.
Right.
So you've broken the ice. You've given them that firm handshake. Sometimes maybe handshake because that's still fine. But I'm not here with any harm. And then when you're a smiler, crack a joke or 2, or give them a compliment. You know, that's a dope cap, bro. He's gonna say thank you. Nagati thank you. We are relaxed. Presentation. Nagati, thank you when umlandelangani a product esandleni. This is the best. I know you drink energy. No, I don't like energy drink. You must also always be ready with default answers. You angathi anginamali, angathi angaphuza ama energy drink, angathi angaphuza ushukela, angathi sengiyithengile already nginayo. So automatically when nje uhlala so unama answer. You know, and sometimes you must be aware of people abazokuchithela isikhathi. You can engage him, try to turn him around. Try to turn him around. Don't waste too much time. It's okay. Because he might just be a client tomorrow or the other day or next time.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Have a great day. So your presentation goes with the short story where you present the product. When you present the product, you give them the need. Not the want to go to one. No, you must give them the need. And this is a different one because it's a brand new, awesome flavor. That time so we are explainer. Now we explain a short story a presentation because some guided product. And the 4th one is a close. The close is that part or that time when you have to force them to make a decision.
Sometimes people have already agreed to buy, but you are still selling.
Thank you. You must know when to close. And you close when there's excitement in the customer. But that thing, the baby is a good impulse because excitement I last. The closing is the most important one because okay, that's the wrong, guys. Not in a negative connotation. Sure.
Yes.
That's why now a bank, uvulele a bank account because bo uvulele account for bank kuphela. Mara my so buy airtime da so ne funeral cover da so upsell njalo bakukhuthuzile bakuclosile but nabaqeda ukucloser bakurehash. Ukurehash basically is what we call upselling. Because you've bought this, actually, if you buy 2, this one will be at a discounted price. Sebak upsell lap. Actually, by the way, when you get these, they go very well with this. So mkai ice lap.
Yeah.
Or mkai cooler box. Or mkaya into ehambelana naleo product layo. So that system works everywhere. That was my cheat code in the entertainment industry.
Guys, I think that deserves a round of applause. Come on. Huh? Your journey in radio started just because people gave you an opportunity in the middle of the night and you made that into your own. What I've seen is a lot of young people or entrepreneurs, they don't want to do the hard yards or the non-sexy stuff where, you know, you got to build the chops to get it right. Maybe tell us a little bit about that story and how that happened. And also maybe just align that into why brands like MTN creating platforms like this and sharing information to young people is important.
It's awesome. So let me also throw this one in. As you would see that nange nang pai mo fire and pa ma flavor mo fire pa na marbo nang pai flavor.
The yellow one.
The yellow one, right? It goes hand in hand ne brand. I could have bought another flavor ngayibeka la. Mari ngonde yami cabanga njenge marketer, njenge entrepreneur, and also in maintaining relationships. You need to remember MTN are friends. They are our partners, our friend, our stakeholder, you know? So how do you keep those relations by also not being selfish, by tabangeling your stakeholder or your partner? And how do you do that? By understanding what their objectives are. Or just a simple thing like what they're about. You can't just come in and just do or say things as offender. Then you're hustling backwards because uzomluza lo muntu umdinile. Ngoba nasebahleli bayibukele le video. We did a great job. That was awesome work that we did. But did he really have to say that? Did he have? So guys, melen moving. Intensibiza good timing. Melube ne timing.
Read the room.
Read the room. Coming back to the answer. Mina ngicale ngispana jumpers e-YFM. Bengispana kwesinye slot abasibiza ukuthi i-graveyard slot. Graveyard slot basically is after midnight. And in most radio stations, that's when you've got the least listening people. But fortunately, we're at a youth station, which is YFM. So as much as the listenership is less, but because it's a youth station, you still got tons and tons of people listening. So I took advantage of that. You show value to wherever you want to be. You don't go there and asking for a job. No, show value. I see your company is doing really well. I even love your social media working communications, guys, but you haven't integrated your social media with your website. As a matter of fact, your website is nice, but I've done something better for you guys. Would like for you guys to check. So we end that time website. So Bakai is solution. Just check it out. You don't have to, and you don't have to pay me nothing for it. Yabon. For me, it was the same. I'm offering value. So it's very important, Bandona Baseka, you show value to whatever family you want to be a part of, whatever company you want to be a part of. That's how I started. From graveyard slot, I heard within the radio station there was a talent search competition that was done. And the talent search competition, I entered it. I did not win it. I was a runner-up of that competition. But certain places, it might not necessarily to win it. And basically, when you no. The fact you back nominated, you must behave as if so would win because back nominated, that's part of recognition. So I would befriend the YFM DJs. I'll just prove myself because I know what my work ethic will do. Because I was just that guy they relied on me with anything. Like nabankai task, ang bapataling ama excuse. In I will make sure nabankai task I execute it. No matter how long it'll take me, I'll make sure I execute it. So then I became that guy that they can trust and the go-to guy. And whenever there is no any other DJ or the show or they're on leave or they can't come to work, Greg knew. He would call me, I'll be there in no minute. And I never used to stay far from AY. I used to stay at Yeovil at the time. YFM used to be in Bertram's. And I'd always be there within 15, 20 minutes. So then I became a guy that they could rely on. I became a guy that would solve amanyama problems. I used to dress smart. When you are that type of a guy, there isn't any organization that doesn't want to keep a person like that. That's how I grew. I moved up the ranks at YFM.
That spirit of that you're the guy people can rely on, or the work ethic, I guess, is what it was, essentially. Do you think people still have that? Because I don't see it as much. I think our generation, maybe we were hard-coded differently, where we just grafted, man, and we were always trying to prove ourselves, even for nothing. And I think you said something that was super powerful, and I hope people take it home. Be solution-oriented instead of coming to asking. Just come and provide, offer, as opposed to asking. Do you think that spirit is still out there?
I think it is out there, but at the same time, I also think there's a new era of young hustlers right now. And it should be like this. Every generation that comes should be better than the generation before. Technology has made things easier. So you guys, it shouldn't be as hard as it was for us.
But does the spirit change though?
The spirit changes when the person is not committed or they are not hungry enough in what they want.
Have you ever heard the saying that hard times build strong men and strong men build good times and good times build weak men?
Yeah.
We struggled, hustled, made things easier for the next generation, but things being easier for the next generations might make them not work as hard. I don't know. I'm interested in your...
The reason why they're all in this room is different from how we used to fill people in a room. We used to put up a poster, a flyer, but they're here because things were done online, right? And they're here. And basically, for you guys is to wire yourself that way, to be like, we've got technology, we've got AI on our side, we've got Wi-Fi. What I want to say is, it's their prerogative to work smart. Yes, you must work hard, but if we azazi, vele ukuthi uyavilapha. I mean, I know I'm bad with admin. I'm honest to myself, ngiyazazi weak da. You understand? Ngiyawazi ama strengths wami. Even in the businesses that I'm involved in, ngiyawazi ama strengths wami. Ngiyazazi izinto ukuthi angeke ngikhona ukuzenza ukuthi ziyadingeka ukwenza i-project ibe successful. That's why I've got partners in pretty much almost everything that I'm involved in, right? Because akekho umuntu perfect. So you guys, you must also be very careful in working smart as opposed to harder. But even naleyo smart working yako, there must be that work ethic. There must be that work ethic. You can't manage just because you are thinking you're online and you're doing cool and dope things and you're building your things there online, and then you get caught up in just following a celebrity or whatever is trending or comment or troll abantu. Then manje so spend most of your time into enokuthi azikwakhi, into ukuthi leisure.
Word on the street is just that. Words. No one's really walking the talk.
It's promises, future plans, possibilities.
So much s'goa. And for what exactly?
Safa.
And like, we've heard it all before. It's like a song on repeat.
Let's get to it already.
Let's drop the mic, roll up our sleeves, and get it.
So if you're down for less what ifs, maybes, more action.
And if you understand the assignments.
Join MTN Pulse, a platform that empowers the youth with exclusive, affordable data offers.
That gives us access to educational platforms, career and lifestyle rewards, and so many more.
We've got the receipts.
MTN Pulse is giving bless us. Giving, don't worry about it.
There are perks for days, rewards always, monthly and yearly. Just because you're part of the fam.
I mean, if you got someone who backs you like that, I mean, come on, let's operate.
Dial *411# to join MTN Pulse. For teens and under 25s, T's and C's apply.
Use the online space to grow yourself. Whether you are following other people that are already succeeding in whatever you want to become, whether you're following companies that you eventually would like to work for, or whether you're building a product and you're watching other products that are owned by... I've watched Red Bull. I know the Red Bull story. I know Red Bull in and out. I even know the Monster story. What inspired me was pure the most Game of Fire was the Monster story, actually, because it was started by South Africans. South Africans who moved to the US.
And apparently they're super successful and rich. I mean,
amazing.
But maybe then let's use this opportunity to double click on Imo Fire and your journey, because I think for me, that is the classic example. You know, you were a trailblazer when people didn't know that themselves being a brand can be extrapolated or made into a physical thing that can be unsold. But I mean, listening to your story, it's almost like when you look backwards, this was always going to happen now that we know how you think. But tell us how it actually kicked off.
So when I was at the height of my DJ Sbu career, you've got traction there. That's why you must strike while the iron is hot, because you're not going to be hot forever. There's going to be days when you're like this, you're starting to be gray, or the energy sort of becomes less and less, you think differently. But now that you're young, you've got the energy. I did it then. And then I saw, okay, everything I touch at this time that I'm in, or the moment that I'm in, everything that I tell people to do, I had a following, I had TS Records, our artists were doing well, top 10 music, you're on Friends Like These, you are doing an afternoon powerful drive show.
No Mzege.
I've never been to Mzege. then you get opportunities. A lot of people approach you. Hey, I've got this and that, I want to work with you. Hey, I've got... So usually I'd be very selective about participating in stuff. So one gentleman by the name of Sipiwe Lukuleni Shongwe, who is a Vets University graduate, who's in mining, approached me. Ntwana, from Good Graveyard, I was one of your first fans. So as you've grown, and I love your journey, I love what you're about, and I was also running an education foundation, going to schools, giving bursaries, and just doing wonderful work. And he liked that. And it's like it aligns with the values that I think I also stand for, you know. And if I would have any partner, he had an energy drink at the time. He had just started it. I think it was a year or 2 years old. He invited me to come become a part of that energy drink brand. I was interested. And at that time, you know, and I remember one of my mentors, he once said something that I guess it also planted a seed. My mentor said, why do you drink a lot of those things? I'm like, but sir, I'm always on the road. I'm always performing from one city to the next. I'm always gigging. And then he was like, just always think about this. If you spend too much on it, then own it. Right? He gave me that punchline, and I never forgot that line. Fast forward to a few years later, Spear, idea, energy drink that he owns with his partners. He invites me to come on board. I agree. Eventually, I agreed to a 10% stake in the company. His business partners don't want to budge. They don't want to dilute more. Only have 10%. I was still happy with that because it wasn't going to take too much of my time. I'd still do whatever I do. I'm just endorsing this thing. They're not giving me a big check, but we're going to build something together. At some point, Spiwa said to me, and he was honest with me, it's like, this thing is going to be big because of you, right? So I really do think, and this is him, and I'll always appreciate him for this, 10% stake. And then he was like, I've got an idea. If I were to sell my shares of this energy drink to my partners and let it go and go start something new with you, would you be interested? And then I was like, of course, I'd be interested. It's like, we'll go equal, 50-50. We'll start a company together. Our own energy drink, we're going to start from scratch. Because even that one was created by him. And then I agreed. Then I didn't see him for about a month or two. And then later on, I remember that meeting that we had when he came to present him on fire again. He had the idea. He came up with the name. I didn't. Sipiwa did. He presented it. And then I saw it. He showed me the numbers. He had done his research. Like, he's a professional. And then I was sold. I was sold into it. But the skills that we needed, the amount of money that we needed to get this thing off the ground, and also, after he sold his shares with those guys, they were not going to allow him to trade in the space for another year. Restraint of trade, that's what it is. That's what most companies do. People sell companies, and then sometimes as an entrepreneur, you want to sell them the company, they're interested, they buy it from you, but sometimes they want to keep you running the company. But little did I know that I was getting myself into the most biggest challenge I've ever had to...
In what sense?
Yeah, Mofa became difficult, bro.
Ganja.
It was early days. Entrepreneurship language or the narrative wasn't as it is now. It wasn't easy
And
for...
people forget that, like, you were trailblazing at the time. It wasn't sexy. You know, like when guys started it quite, or even Amapiano, like people were like, But when it's now normal, everybody thinks it's just like, that's how things were.
Yeah, I can't know. It wasn't like that.
So it was always the first person who goes in and there's nothing there.
Yeah, and it's tough. When you walk in there, you're trying to get into these retail outlets. You need a specific buyer. I want my energy drink, or dealing my energy drink. And every second meeting that we would get, that is if we would get one, because Abanye, they would refuse to even meet us. You'd be told, there's too many energy drinks in the market. The big players are the ones that are doing well. They've got the money to do so, and we're doing well with them, and we're happy with them. Why must I take this thing and put it into one of my SKUs or one of my brands when I'm already making so much money with Red Bull, Monster, and Dragon? Dragon, I remember at the time, was huge. So that's what we used to always get. Rejection after rejection after rejection. Meetings, they wouldn't want to give us meetings. And then at some point, because I'm in the public eye, and there's then social media at that time. These are the early days of Instagram. These are the early days of Twitter. Maybe it's like 3-4 years old that time. It's still new, you know, but Facebook had sort of been around, and I sort of had some sort of a big Facebook following. But luckily, I was still on radio. I was still gigging. I'm in front of thousands of people every weekend. I lift the can. I get the crowd to chant, more fire, more fire. You know, I can do all of those little things and stunts that I can do. But still, to sell this thing is not easy.
Because it has to be on shelf, right?
It has to be on the shelves. And the most difficult thing, some of you guys would know as entrepreneurs, is distribution. Yes, marketing requires a lot of money. It's difficult. But distribution. That was the biggest challenge.
Why haven't you sold it?
Hey, that's a good question. The last opportunity that we had was to let it go for sOperate B. That was nice. That was, yeah, $1 billion, yeah. Yeah.
And you said no?
Yeah, you've got business partners in this thing. Some want to sell, some want to cash out. But now you are interested. But what's nice is that that's validation. You're on the right track. And most of the time, naba interested to buy. They're not necessarily buying.
Yeah, they want to cool you down
Yabona.
and push other brands, right? They're
Yabona.
buying you out of competition.
Yes. And those who are genuinely
But
interested
I mean,
in it.
are you not selling, like you said, you've got partners. Are you too invested in it? It's your baby. Is there an aspect of that? Or you think it's got legs still? You still got...
So before I answer the question, let me tell you something. Any brand or any company is valued as much as the next person is willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? If ungaba nje humble nyana or ube patient nyana on qhubeka ngaleso struggle in a year or two or even maybe less.
Could be more.
There might just be someone else or bona bangabuya with more.
Yeah.
Because let's say recordegile.
Yeah.
There's never going to be anybody else who's going to come and offer you less than this.
And already that means you now know you are worth, at the very least,
Thank you.
this.
Thank you.
At the very least.
Thank you.
Whether it's in your pocket or not.
Or not,
you are worth
yeah.
it. Hey, Buffett, you're selling a billionaire. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Uzwiti. But that also requires heart, requires patience. It requires
courage,
a solid mind, courage. But besides, I also am involved in other things.
Yes.
Yabona. So I'm not in a hurry, but I also understand what we're doing is bigger than us. Culture, authenticity,
the brand,
originality, the brand, what it represents to ordinary South Africans. You know what I mean? And we've seen a lot of those stories also in the past decade. I mean, Soweto Gold. Right? I thought by now it would be huge. I got excited when they bought because I was like, wow, a global company is coming on board. Because I thought they were going to make it big.
They bought it to take it out.
In the beginning, it was exciting. We were starting to see it everywhere, but I don't know what happened. So be careful, entrepreneurs, sometimes, but buy paella for their own other reasons. So not all money is good money. When we started this thing, we called it a protest project. When you see it, it's got a flame. The flame represents that burning desire that we all have. Any person who's hungry, who's poor, who's a go-getter, who wants to achieve their vision, their dreams.
By the way.
Thank you, Siyabonga Mfethu.
Even
they've evolved. Back in the day, they never used to be like this.
Yeah, man.
But as you grow, you keep on reinvesting in this thing just to keep on making the product better.
Yeah.
It's like Njengani. I like the fact that you guys are here. You are reinvesting into yourselves. Abanye abantu, they'd rather be elsewhere, but you guys are here. So you are reinvesting into yourselves. Business is the same. It wants you to keep on reinvesting in it. It's got a burning, barking a flame. And then around the flame, it's got like gold in it, especially for those who've got a black can. And the reason why the black can was our first is because black, we believe, is a color of boldness, is a color of strength. They've always said that Africa is a dark continent, it was shy. But the amount of minerals and wealth that Africa has, it feeds the whole world. It's the youngest continent in the world. That's the reason why our blackness in our can has got some gold around it. This flame, see, shy, ubu gold around it, even around the can, it's no gold. The gold represents the wealth that the Africa has. But what inspired more fire was the struggle of 1956 and the struggle of 1976. 1956, the march to the Union buildings, Mama, Abayenzi march against the apartheid laws. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And for us, it was the same thing. We're sick and tired of being consumers. We're sick and tired of how the status quo has always been. We believe we will be in the forefront of changing this thing. Entrepreneurs who've been great, who've been amazing, who've done it before us. But we kind of felt that it's our responsibility to change the game, to make our future better, to start preaching ownership, to start preaching wealth creation as black people, to start building generational wealth. So it was a bigger picture. It was a bigger idea than just this energy drink. We know what this thing represents to Utaki, Mzansi. We know what this thing will become, even no Masasngeko. So that's the vision.
And I think talking about the vision, seeing you and your journey, I'm pretty certain, it's onwards and upwards. So what's next?
What's next is when I do release that book, people will see the intentions behind everything that I've ever done in my entire career. It goes back to the name Usibusiso. You are blessed to become a blessing. So everything I'm involved in is bigger than me. It's for even another brand is the same. The reason why Singapais is the same. We can easily sell Sibe Mnandi, move overseas or Sizinyamalale na family with Sibe Mnandi. But I guess the journey that we are on, we understand that there's all these people that are behind us. That represents millions that are coming after them. And because we've sort of seen a little bit of the light, as much as good have every mnyango sukhahlelayo, like gents zwakalan, every mnyango sukhahlelayo, gents zwakalan, thina senze kanje, sayenza kanje, sayenza kanje, nayi information. So the next thing is the same. It continues to be purpose, and purpose was to create wealth, and while creating it, share the story, be transparent in it, but when you get the wealth, to give back. And I was inspired by DJ Fresh and Kabzela. He used to have a movement called the PYG, the Positive Youth of Gauteng. As much as Begapusha umculo ne fun, but he was responsible in having something Oguguti gives back to Umpaga. DJ Fresh had the DJ Fresh Foundation. So my foundation was modeled around what those guys were doing because they were my Grotmans, they were my inspiration. We're always asking for sponsorships, we're always asking from government, asking from companies, and I started feeling like we are becoming glorified beggars. So if you go and Google Mofire, you check the story of the older videos or the earlier videos, when we talk about Mofire, we say when you buy a can, you're educating a South African child. We used to say that because we decided, how do we monetize something that's gonna come and give back to this foundation? Instead of us kokoting jalo and telling imali, I decided, let me just go and be wealthy, and then so that I'm able to help as many people as I can help, and it's easier to do so. That's the reason why my next moves are aligned with the same purpose. I'm doing property.
More on the legacy side.
Yeah, the legacy side, of course. Now it's the legacy side.
Yeah.
Because whether you like it or not, you might not have it in the bank account, but obviously you already are a billionaire, whether you like it or not. It's inevitable, right?
I mean.
It's inevitable. Ngiyabonga bafethu, ngiyabonga. So even if Lauma results are pull me in physical form here, you already know that you're already there. But what's the next thing? The next thing then is just to do to give this money back. How do you give this money back? By what I'm passionate in. I mean, I'm passionate about education and I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. So I'm going to be funding small businesses. I'm going to be continuing to give out bursaries to Intwana Bakeleze. And I'll just be doing all the good stuff that gives back. Giving back has always been something that is close to my heart. And for me, I decided I'm gonna go, not I want to. I'm going to go and be wealthy. And so I'm able to get this wealth and give it back.
I just want to know how you operate. Maybe there's some tips and tricks on how you can maybe help us who sometimes get a bit lazy when we have to operate. But I'm sure you've got your daily routine. So I just wanted to know that.
Time matters. The most successful people that you look up to, time matters to those people. That's why time is money. Everybody talks about affirmations. A lot of successful people do. What are your affirmations? They must start with an I am. I am great. I am humble. I am compassionate, I am successful, I am. Not I am going to, no. The present tense is important. Record those affirmations. They can just be 10, it's okay. And then play them back to your own ear. So that's what I do. Play back my own affirmations. Some of them are even up on YouTube. Some of them are on the Hustler's Corner. I go back to those videos, I play them. Or I scroll through abantu abang inspire lama podcast engiwancanywayo engiwalandelayo or abantu abama motivational speaker engibancanywayo or gospel music. That's what I do in the morning.
So when you DJ Sbu and I'm an upcoming artist, yipi best advice ongangipha yona njengoba ngisaqala le journey yami a musician?
The biggest and best social media platform for you guys to grow your things, advertise your brands, advertise your businesses, advertise your skills, your career, your gifts is TikTok. TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform and its algorithms don't only favor celebrities. You're going to take forever to grow your Instagram. You're going to take forever to grow your Twitter. You're going to take forever to grow your YouTube. The fastest growing social media platform that just supports good content is TikTok. So go open up a TikTok account, go open up all the other social media platforms, use one name that you're going to be consistent in on all platforms if you're building a brand. Even if that account is not for your personal account, but it's for your business or your brand that you're growing. Some of you guys who are building brands, use one name and make sure that it's consistent on all platforms. On all platforms, I'm DJ Sbu Live. Just be consistent with your branding. And for your content to grow quicker on TikTok, When you're posting your music, your clips must be shorter than 20 seconds. The shorter, the better. If they're 10 seconds, that's better. Why? Because the platform itself, algorithms support the shorter it is, the more punchy it is, the more attractive it is. The longest video you can post there, it's a minute. Yes, you can still post longer than a minute, but it's going to be difficult for you to get viral videos and trending videos if they are more than 1 minute. Choose the hooks or the choruses of your songs and also co-create content with other creators as well. And then make sure that you live what you do. You live, you speak, you eat, you dream what you do. And that's what it's about. You are posting content daily. And by the way, be ready for the day you go viral. The day you're viral, these are my steps that I'm going to do. You're giving them your offering of who you are, what you're about, what do you do. And take advantage of that attention to then go in. Maybe that day, that's when you drop the song. In your own ways, sure. I'm going to go live on TikTok, ne? So whoever's going to be coming in front, I'm going to broadcast you guys, ne?
How do you bring yourself up from your lowest moment? And can you please briefly take us through some of your lowest moments you once had?
Thank you very much for the question. I've had a lot of lowest moments. I've lost loved ones. I've lost material things. I've been trolled, criticized, dragged on public platforms and social media. I've lost friends. I've lost money. I've lost a lot of things, but I never give up. I never give up on myself because I appreciate the gift of life, the fact that I woke up this morning. And what keeps me going, I write about it in my book. You don't even have to go buy it. As I did say, go to YouTube and search for DJ Sbu, The Art of Hustling book. It's going to come up. I speak about my why. My biggest why, Mina, is my family, is my daughter, is the youth of this country. As you keep on going, it grows. That why becomes, it's not only your family, but it's about your community. It's not only your community, it's about the bigger picture, the youth of this country, the legacy that you're living. You don't want to just come and be okay alone. You want abanye abantwana nabo ukuthi babe grand. So the little knowledge that you've gotten, share it with others. Open doors for others whichever way you can. And that is my biggest why, and that is what drives me.
Sebenza, 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 sebenza kanzima.
Switch to MTN and dial *411# to join MTN Pulse for discounted data offers and dope experiences for under 25s. T's and C's apply.